Hello everyone, my name is Jordan, and last summer I made a movie called Little Black Submarines with a bunch of my friends up in Yakima, Washington. It is the biggest project I've ever worked on. It is the longest that I've ever worked on a singular project. It was the most people I've ever worked with on a project. It is the most ambitious film I've ever made. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, it was a massive Herculean effort on all parts involved, not just mine own, but I've called it my Mount Everest before. And it's going to be out this Friday. And I figured it felt appropriate because it's been a while since we've kind of talked to the camera a little bit. It felt appropriate. I wanted to come on here and just talk with everyone. I'm not going to cut this video up. If I make a mistake or if I stumble over my words or if I get interrupted, it's probably just going to be in the video. But yeah, I felt like a little, I don't know, for our viewers who've been following us for a long time, they might want a preamble of sorts before they see the movie, things to expect, how I'm feeling. This video is very likely to get very messy, but bear with me. I'm going through a lot right now. I'm good. I'm doing great, but there's a lot of different emotions that come with a project of this size. And I guess the first one is disbelief. As you might have heard from us on this channel before, I've been involved with this project for about a year and a half. I started writing it with my co-writer back in January of 2023. And we finally hit export on the movie at the end of July, or end of June 2024. So about 18 months. Like I said, it's the longest I've ever worked on a project. And typically I really like to work really quickly because I've noticed that when I have worked on things, I tend to get very burnt out very quickly because I give a lot of myself to the movie. I also lose a lot of momentum and stamina. And so a project like this, which has lasted 18 months, has really tested me from my creative stamina, I guess you would put it. I'm not used to working on things for this long. In fact, I don't know if I've shared this before, but Little Black Submarines was not supposed to take this long. Little Black Submarines was supposed to be just a fun, simple, easy little project that we were going to do in a week up in Yakima. I was going to edit it in like a month, and it was going to be out. It was always going to come out July of 23 or of 24 because, fun fact, I can't remember the exact date, but our lead actress in the film, Vanessa, she's fantastic. Excellent job. One of my favorite performers I've ever worked with. Doomed, we first met her in July of 2022, I believe. And we were filming Little Black Submarines in July of 2023. And so the movie was always going to come out in July of 2024, no matter what happened. But again, I didn't anticipate that entire time from shooting to the movie's release that I'd pretty much be working on it. So it's been a real test of my stamina. And it's something that I felt the last few months, or I guess more recently. It's been dawning on me as people have seen the trailer, as people have seen the posters, as people have talked about the movie and more stuff is being visible and is out there, we're putting it out to the world. It's kind of just dawning on me that, oh my goodness, this movie's going to be out. It's going to be released. People are going to see it. Which was something that I had in my mind for the last year or so seemed like such an impossibility because for the longest time there's been so much work that's been needed to be done on this film that the idea of it being finished, the idea of it being complete seemed like such a foreign notion to me. I mean, it would be like going back in time to 1,000 years and telling people about TVs. Can you imagine telling a peasant about a television 1,000 years ago? They'd be like, what? What are you talking about? That's kind of been me with finishing the movie. And so now that it's the Monday before the film was released, it's kind of like, oh my goodness, this is pretty crazy. This is wild. So I'm feeling a lot of that right now. I'm also feeling, I guess, excited for the future. I don't want to get too personal, and this is not a woe is me kind of thing, but over the last year or so since editing the movie, I went to a lot of different places creatively, like as a filmmaker, as an artist, as a creative, whatever you want to call it. And there was a time that it was looking like I was going to be done with filmmaking for good, essentially. There was a time where I was like, you know what, I'm good. Like, this is it. I'm done. No more movies for me. And so I no longer feel that way. And so I'm very excited now for the creative things that I do in the future. And it's kind of like this, I don't know, excitement that I didn't have maybe 7, 8 months ago. I'm feeling just kind of excited to be done with this thing in a good way. As with most movies, I'm very, very critical of my own work. I don't think I've ever made a film that I've really, really been 100% happy with. I really envy directors that do that and filmmakers who can create something that they're 1000% happy with and they love and they can put it on and rewatch it. That's not me. I always see flaws in my movies, and I always look at things that I wish I could have changed, but I didn't. And so looking at Little Black Submarines, I think people would, a question that I'm bound to get asked is, well, how do you feel about the movie now that it's done and it's out? And it's like, to be honest, it comes in waves. Sometimes I feel very critical of the movie and I'm really not happy with it. Other times I feel really proud of the movie and really kind of pleased with what we pulled off and what happened. Regardless of how I feel, this is some things that I felt that are consistent about Little Black Submarines that I feel comfortable and confident saying is, one, this movie by far is the most ambitious thing I've ever made. And I am completely impressed with all of the Little Black Submarines crew members that we were able to pull it off. And I'm in awe of their talent and skill. I cannot take credit for all of this. This was not the work of one person. This was the work of a dedicated team of people who made everything come together. And there's a lot of areas and moments in time when this movie totally should have and could have fallen through, but it didn't because of the hard work and dedication of other people who were not myself. So in that sense, I'm immensely proud of the work that everybody's done. I think Ethan and Zach killed it with the cinematography. I think the acting performances from all of the actors, excluding present company, I think they all do a fantastic job. I act in the movie, in case you didn't know, but Vanessa and David were incredible scene partners to have in this movie, and I had a lot of fun acting alongside them. And all of the other players, Zach and Izzy and Micah and Phil, wonderful performances. I love the work that everybody did. So I'm super happy in that aspect with the movie. And, again, I'm very critical of my work, but I am able to take a step back and look at what was accomplished, and I feel just this sense of awe, wonder at what we did together. And I'm really struck by the beauty of the collaboration on this film and how all these different talented people brought together their unique talents and skills to make something, to make this movie. And so I think that's super duper cool, and that's really, really awesome. So I'm really, really happy with the team that we had on this one. And I don't know how likely it will ever be that we'll all get to work together on a movie like this again, but I'm just so happy that we got to do it this time, because when I was younger, I say younger, but really in the last few years, I always fantasized about a dream movie. Not any movie in particular, but a dream scenario in which that I would make a movie, which would be, after cultivating a bunch of friends, filmmaker friends, acting friends, technician friends, and everything like that, after kind of getting to know a lot of people, I've always fantasized that one day I would bring together everybody in my life who I knew who was a creative, and we'd work on a movie together. You know, I'd get all my best acting friends and I'd get all my best filmmaking friends, and we'd pool all of our resources together, and we'd camp out for a week at some remote location, and we'd work on a movie, and I'd raise money for this movie, and it would be like this, you know, this culmination of everything that I've been working towards for my whole filmmaking career, essentially. And it wasn't until we were shooting Little Black Submarines, honestly, that I realized that, oh, wait a minute, this is that movie. The movie that we were making back then, I didn't realize until I kind of saw how many people were involved was, you know, I realized, oh my goodness, this is that movie. This is that kind of scenario. And I hadn't realized it. I'd kind of accidentally stumbled myself into this production, which I'm not going to complain about. I think, you know, it was really awesome and everything. But it took me by surprise for sure that, oh wait, this is the all hands on deck film. So I am trying to take my time and enjoy this process of the movie being out and finishing up the movie. But there comes a sadness with it as well, because it is like, oh geez, it's the end of this project. It's going to be done. It's over. What am I going to do with my life? That sort of thing. But again, it's all excitement on my end. Again, I'm not trying to get people's sympathy or pity or anything. I'm really excited for people to see this film. Like I said, biggest thing we've ever made. Super ambitious. Something I don't want to spoil anything, but something I do feel comfortable saying is, when I went into this movie, there were 3 things that I was like, before anything was written, I was like, I want these 3 things to happen in the movie. And those 3 things were, I wanted a gunfight, I wanted a car chase, and I wanted a Mexican standoff, like in all the spaghetti westerns. And we did those things. And, you know, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm really happy the movie's going to be out soon, and I'm excited for people to see it, and I'm dying to talk about it with people. Yeah. So I guess more logistically, or specifically, a question I think people will have who have been following this channel, right, is this movie, well, in case you didn't know, this movie is a part of the Chlorine universe, a universe started by Daniel Lotz of 922 or $5 Film School. It's a part of this cinematic universe, which has grown on YouTube. And I think a question a lot of people will have is, do you need to see any of the other Chlorine movies to understand Little Black Submarines? And my response to that is no. You don't need to see them. Little Black Submarines was designed to be seen on its own, isolated from everything else. It was designed to work on its own as a movie without needing 100% like everybody to have seen all the other Chlorine films. That being said, it is technically a sequel to The Mentor. And if you were to watch any of the Chlorine movies before seeing Little Black Submarines, I would highly recommend that you watch The Mentor. That is a film from Nathan Cash of RC Films. It's over on their channel right now. You can check it out for free. I think it's about a 2-hour movie, something like that. It's very wonderful. There are a couple of characters who carry over from that film into our movie. But again, you don't need to see it to understand Little Black Submarines, but it would really, 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 really help, I think. If you didn't know, we've been doing these watch parties on our YouTube channel, watching through all the Chlorine films, but and The Mentor was last week. So, but really, you don't need to see any of them to understand this one, but it would help, I think. It would give you some insight. it's very isolated from chlorine and the chlorine shorts and all that, but The Mentor is the one I would check out if I were you. If you were felt so inclined to watch these movies. But yeah. And I'm feeling like I'm rambling on and on and on, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here pretty soon. But the last thing I want to say is this. When I was younger, all I wanted to do was make feature films. I just wanted to be a movie director and make Hollywood movies and Hollywood blockbusters and stuff like that, and make long movies and everything. And I feel so lucky and fortunate to have discovered this community of filmmakers and people who like our stuff, who have supported us in the past 4 years since kind of officially becoming a quote-unquote folk filmmaker, or a YouTube filmmaker, truly independent filmmaker, or no-budget filmmaker on YouTube. I feel so thankful for everyone who has watched our stuff, who has supported our stuff, and has been following us along this journey. Because just the other day, I saw a screenshot of Oh Brother, and I clicked on the movie. That was the first feature film I made in 2020 during COVID. After I had discovered the work of, Daniel Watts and Joel Haver and Cody Clark, and we decided to start making feature films. That was the movie I made. It was Oh Brother. And I look at what I did on that movie, and I look at Little Black Submarines, and I just think to myself, oh my goodness, like, I'm not saying that my movie's good. I feel like that's a little egotistical to say that I made like an awesome movie or an incredible movie, me personally. But I do feel comfortable saying that I think there's a lot of improvements since Oh Brother. I think I can see improvements in myself as a filmmaker. And part of what's helped me make those improvements is, one, the people who've been watching us and supporting us and encouraging us along the way. Our filmmaking friends who have supported us and given us feedback and helped me out making movies. And just this YouTube channel, this community we've started. I think it's just been this really helpful thing. And this amazing outlet for me and Ethan and Zach to release our feature films and do these crazy movies on YouTube. So I guess I would like to just say thank you to everyone who's watched our work so far. Thank you to everyone who supported us. Thank you to everyone who's going to check out Little Black Submarines. I really appreciate all of you who have checked out our work, because, even if you hate our stuff, even if you don't like our movies, that's fine. I'm not offended or upset by that. Just know that, I've spent 18 months of my life in the with the goal of just entertaining people for 2 hours. I just want to entertain you all, and I want to make a movie that I'd want to see, a movie that would excite me. And so just know that that's where I'm coming from. And I am really excited for people to see this movie, and I really appreciate everybody supporting and following us in this project. I'm not going to ask anything of you all. Just watching the movie is enough. But I will say, if you watched Little Black Submarines and you really enjoyed the movie, if you watched it and there was something that spoke to you, please consider just sharing the movie with someone else who would like the movie. You don't need to post it on your Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. You don't need to do that. You don't need to share our movie. But if you really like Little Black Submarines, and you have a friend or you have a coworker or a cousin who you think would really enjoy the film as well, please share it with them. That is something that really helps us out. It means the world to us when people enjoy our movies, they let us know they enjoy them, and they share our movies with the people that they care about too. And it only takes a couple seconds out of your day, but it would mean the world to us. So, yeah, I think I'm going to stop rambling here. Again, thank you for everyone who's supported us. Thank you for everyone who's going to be watching our movie this Friday. And I can't wait to hear what you all think.